Just like Girls Band Cry, there was also another original anime that took anime watchers by storm, and it's an anime called Jellyfish Can't Swim at Night. Despite the name of the anime, it's not really what you think, because just like Girls Band Cry, it was able to show drama with music as well. And just like Girls Band Cry, it was able to showcase this as well in modern times, where of course everything revolves around the internet and social media. And despite it only being 12 episodes, it was able to give us a solid story packed with a lot of emotions and a lot of realism that a lot of people face in the real world. And that is not only being able to love yourself, but being able to believe in yourself and be confident about who you truly are. One big difference between this and Girls Band Cry is that while I am a huge fan of Girls Band Cry, it was obvious as the series went on that the two biggest story plots involved Nina and Momoka, whereas in Jellyfish Can't Swim at Night, it actually focuses on the four main characters of this series, making us not only like them because of their personality, but also making us care about them as they're trying to solve their own issues and trying to show us their journey of change. Take for example Mahiru, who had a passion for drawing ever since she was a little kid. In fact, she liked drawing so much that she was very happy and believed that her artworks were really great. However, one day when she tried showing this to her friends, in which she showed a painting that she made of a jellyfish in a wall, her friends weren't that interested and weren't really that impressed. This caused a change in Mahiru, as not only did she not reveal that she was the one who made it, but she also started to be judgmental of herself, believing that she wasn't creating good artworks and believing that what she was into wasn't something that she should be doing. But that all changes when she meets a girl who goes by the name of Kano, in which she overhears how much she really likes the artwork, but she also reveals how this artwork helped her a lot in her life when she was dealing with a lot of things. And after they interact, in which Kano reveals that she really wants to get back into music, as it seems that she has some history with it, she wants Mahiru's help. Even though Mahiru knows very little about music, she wants her to be her illustrator and wants her to create a character that will represent her new group, this group who will be called Jelly. But of course, things wouldn't be easy, as not only do they have to get their names out there, but they also need other help from other people, because just simply the two of them isn't going to be enough to get this group going. But in the meantime, we actually start to learn more about Kano. It's revealed that Kano actually used to be part of a group that was doing really well, but upon a scandal in which not only ruined her reputation, but it also made her want to change her identity and separate herself from the situation, we see that Kano isn't perfect. Sure, she may seem positive, and sure, she may be seen like a very relaxed person, but deep down she has her struggles, and deep down she worries about what's going to be next for not just her music career, but just her life overall. As even herself, she doesn't even know what direction to take or what's really the best choices for her, but still wants to prove to the world that she got what it takes to be a singer. And then when we are introduced to the other two members of the group, this being Kimura and Watase, the anime does a good job focusing on them as well, in which we come to find out that Kimura was actually a huge fan of Kano when she was still in her idol group, which not only helped her build up confidence, but she also started to really appreciate life thanks to her. But of course, upon the scandal, she was heartbroken to find out that not only was the person she looked up to left the group, but now she was clearly in a very depressing state. But once they are reunited once again, she agrees to be part of the Jelly group as their composer, as once again, due to her wanting to help her out no matter what, and due to her still being a fan even after everything that happened, she still is going to be by her side, as once again, this is the person that she believes saved her and made her keep going forward in life no matter what it threw at her. And then you have Watase, who is actually a girl Mahiru knows since they were friends for a really long time, ever since they were kids. And Watase used to be a very upbeat person who didn't hide who she was or what she liked. But as she started to grow up and as she was attending high school, she realized that people can be very judgmental and look down on you because of your preferences and what kind of person you are. And this is clearly shown through Watase, as despite her cheery personality, many people didn't want to be friends with her because of what she liked, and people view her as somebody who was still a child and hasn't grown up and doesn't act her age. This of course severely affected Watase's confidence, so much so that she did not only look down on herself, but she also stopped attending school. But despite all this, she actually managed to achieve one thing, and that is to have a successful streaming career in which she had a persona and she loved playing games, and it's very obvious that she built a fan base of people that seemingly not only liked her but also liked what she was into. But despite having this successful streaming career, that didn't stop the problem that Watase was facing, and that is being able to love herself and being able to appreciate who she is. Because not only did she not go outside and have any social life, but every time she saw girls in school uniforms, it's like she is haunted by those terrible memories when she was in school, remembering those times when people did not want to be friends with her and when people viewed her as weird and somebody that they wouldn't want to be next to. But despite her struggles, she does accept the offer into joining the Jelly group. And because the reason being is due to her knowledge of how to not only stand out from the rest of the competition, but also knowing a lot about computers that can really help the Jelly group out. But despite all these people being in the Jelly group, and despite them having some huge success later on, in which not only do they start getting a ton of views because of their music, but they also start to create an audience that will actually listen to their music, they still have their own problems. They still haven't solved what they clearly are still trying to overcome. Like when Mahiru is creating the character that will represent their group, despite hers looking very good and despite people liking the character design, she finds out upon the popularity that people are actually making fan art of her character. Now this isn't a bad thing because fan art is very great to have, especially when you're starting to build an audience. The problem is that people are actually starting to like the fan arts even more than the official artwork. This of course makes Mahiro sad and once again very insecure at what she's creating, and that is something that is very realistic to people who either create art or just in general any kind of media, especially when it comes to online, like YouTubers for example. When you see success in other individuals but you don't see success in yourself, you start to wonder if it's really worth it, if it's worth continuing knowing that somebody else is probably going to be or do things that you do 10 times better. It's a struggle that a lot of people who want to succeed in what they do really think about all the time. Is this great? Is this really my best work? And are people really liking what I'm making? Or they're just saying that it's good just to not look like a terrible person? It's these questions that linger not just in celebrities but people who do content creation as well. And this could also correlate to Kano as well, as it's very obvious that while she is very happy to have finally created a new group and trying to have a new path for her love of music, she contemplates whether what she's doing is the correct choice, and she still lingers about the past, and it's very obvious that the past is something that she's reminded and she still hasn't forgotten. And to be honest, once it's revealed what happened with the scandal and why it even happened to begin with, you can see that it wasn't really 100% her entire fault, as during this time when she was still in her original group, she discovered that another member of the group was actually having a secret account that was exposing other idol groups' secrets that would not only ruin their image but also made them look bad as well, or things that simply would be controversial and will lead to them being talked to in a negative way. This of course infuriates Kano because it seems that while this was to get rid of the competition and to make them the group that stood out from the rest of them, this was not something that Kano wanted, as this is not only destroying lives but this is also not what she wants to be involved in, and thus this will lead to her punching the person responsible. But of course this made her look bad, as due to people not getting the entire story, this of course made Kano the outcast, leading to her not only having a bad image that will force her to leave the group due to the constant ridicule, but it will also make her have fear of not just losing everything, but being all alone. That's one of the things that Kano is afraid. She doesn't want to be alone like she was for quite a while. So when Mahiro decides to take a break from the group to focus on an offer that Kano's mother, who's not only built a name for herself in the industry, but is also taking care of the original group that Kano was at, this would cause Kano to lash out at Mahiro and show us a side that we never really got to see, but it's a side that she was probably holding on inside for a really long time that left the other members quite shocked, telling Mahiro that she's just going to leave her alone and that she did not care about her, and that if it wasn't for her, she wouldn't be where she is at. This of course hurts Mahiro's feelings and may make her believe that this is how Kano truly felt about her, thus causing a rift for a while in the relationship. And once all this happened, Kano realized the mistake she made, but felt that it was too late to patch things up, thus making her hit rock bottom once again. The same feeling she felt during the scandal, feeling that everything was her fault, feeling that she did the worst decisions in her life, and feeling angry of how selfish she was, feeling that she was more worried about herself and what she wanted to do rather than focusing on the others and putting herself of what Mahiro was going through and what she felt. And just when it seemed that it was over for Kano and her dream of continuing with Jelly is fading away and wouldn't be until Kimura, in a display of emotions, will tell Kano that she shouldn't give up, because if she's going to give up, then she's going to be a completely different person to the person she looked up to, the person who was always happy, the person who was always looking to be very excited for what's to come next. That is the person that she always sees in Kano. And if it wasn't for her, like I mentioned earlier, her life would be in shambles and she would still be the insecure, timid person who had no voice and wouldn't have given her all as a composer, because before she met Kano, she really wasn't interested at what she was doing and she felt forced at what she had to do. But ever since Kano became her inspiration, that all completely changed. After hearing this, Kano realizes that it's not over. Just because some things have happened in the past doesn't mean it's going to repeat itself once again. And during this time, Mahiro will come to realize that she should also appreciate her work. She shouldn't be worrying about what others think of it, instead just focusing on what she thinks is the best she could make. It's no wonder why when the offer was available to her and she decided to make the design she chose best and felt was the one that she wanted to create instead of just simply following instructions, it really showed that Mahiro was starting to change and she started to appreciate the work that she was creating, rather than always keeping lingering that maybe this work wasn't good and that she wasn't cut out to be an artist. And then to conclude everyone's character arcs, we of course have Watase, in which she finally decides to be true to herself and be happy of who she is. This is when she was hanging out with Mahiro. Despite her not really being a huge fan of going outside, she decided to just simply go and see how everything goes. But when Mahiro encounters a few people who know who Watase is, they had some not so nice things to say. And even though Mahiro tried to defend her friend, it was not really that useful due to the fact that these people were still saying a lot of bad things to Watase. And fed up with what everyone had to say about her and fed up of being downed by people who think they are better than her, she decided to confront them, thus with once again a raw display of emotions, finally saying that she is happy who she is and she's happy to be the person who she is, and she's not going to be fake and be somebody that she's not just in order to fit in with the crowd and go along with everybody else. In this moment, we see that Watase is being true to herself and she isn't hiding behind the screen or hiding indoors. She's letting the world know that she's not going to change. Even if people don't like her, then that's up to them, because she's going to like herself, thus finally realizing that she has to love herself in order to put her head up high. And after this whole ordeal, Mahiro will reveal to Watase that all this time, ever since they were kids, she always thought that she was cool and that she didn't have to change anything about her or fit into the cool crowd, because she was always cool. It's just that she didn't know it and she never realized that until now. And then of course towards the end of the series, we see Jelly rise back up once again, being more popular than ever, both Mahiro and Kano reuniting and realizing they shouldn't throw away their friendship for something that's not really that big of a deal. And then towards the end, Mahiro creating an artwork that she's happy with, and she does it with the rest of the people that not only mean so much to her but helped her in her very hard time. And after she's finished, she's no longer doubting her work. She's happy that she created it, and she's happy to see what life throws at them, which is a showcase how they're all ready for the next chapter of their life and what's to come, because obviously they don't know what's going to happen because the future is unpredictable, but they'll be ready no matter what, as now they are new people with new ambitions and goals. So Jellyfish Can't Swim at Night is easily one of the greatest animes to come out of Spring Anime 2024. This is up to next levels of Girls Band Cry, combining music but also showcasing the problems that people face, but it's also able to utilize social media, content creation, etc. to also show that it's not just things that happen in the music industry or an idol group that people have to struggle the most. It's also people who use social media or have a platform on the internet that also have to deal with a lot of things that people have to say about them, whether it's good or not, and always having to look out for malicious people, because unfortunately the internet is oftentimes used by garbage individuals. There's always going to be those kind of people out there that are always trying to get to you no matter how messed up it is. But everything all depends on how you handle the situation and what are the choices you make, because it's the choices you make that will make your career keep going forward or will be the beginning of the end, which could lead to the downfall of your career. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, because as long as you still have a supportive fan base, you're going to get through. And sometimes it all just takes you being positive and seeing just how much of a huge impact you have left for so many people that really makes you believe that everything is going to be okay. And that's where I'm going to end today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.